What's up, everybody? We are back. John Delarose here, the leading Hispanic voice in science fiction. This is a great channel for comic news, comic reviews, writing advice, general fun, and of course, discussion of my books and things like that. So hit that like and subscribe button. Before we get into this, leave a comment, say hi. Love to hear from people. And make sure to pick up Spectacular Comics #1. This is my new book. I just want to talk about it real quick. Should have got tabs open before, of course. Just came out yesterday. #1 new release. Already got three reviews, 5 out of 5. Pick up the book. It's got a lot of short stories, just like you'd read in old EC comics or old Marvel comics by Ditko or Jack Kirby or things like that. Before this whole superhero craze, I really wanted to take something back and get that whole pulp mentality out of thing, because that's really where comics shined and had a lot of fun. So this is the book. Make sure to support the channel, pick it up, and read it, and leave a review, please. All right. So to the real talk for the day, which is going to be about the comic book industry, of course. And as the title is going to suggest, the comic book industry is absolutely screwed right now. We're in a system where there's 2,000 comic shops, which is dominated by two major publishers who get the bulk of the market share, Marvel and DC. Marvel and DC are corporate subsidiaries of Disney and what's DC? I forget. Warner Brothers. That's right. And so they're giant monolith corporations who use these as IP farms and then hire low-level talent to just kind of churn out these fan fiction stories of Stan Lee's old characters and, other people's old characters. So there you go. That's all it is. And indies really don't register in comic shops. We've kind of already talked about that. I did a video yesterday on how any indie creator really is not making any money by going into comic shops whatsoever. It's really a tragedy in a lot of ways, but the system's set up that way, and that's why we have to get new distribution methods and change things. Well, news just got worse today. Diamond has stopped shipments to comic shops already, which is a big problem for the few comic shops that are left. Means they cannot get new product. And since they can't get new product, they can't even do curbside sales or anything like that to keep their doors open. So Diamond shut everything down as of April 1. And now this Newsarama alert comes out that they are having cash flow problems, and they're not even able to pay their vendors. So Diamond printed a bunch. Diamond, of course, probably is floating money, just like comic shops are floating money. And there's no product to sell. There's no product to distribute. And so they are already in huge trouble. It really is no surprise, because the comic industry has been hanging on a thread as it is. These companies, like I said, are just barely surviving. The top books sell 100,000. The bottom books sell, 500 units or whatnot. And this is where the comic industry is at. If you look at, when it was healthy, those numbers were 10 times as much, sometimes 20 times as much. And that was keeping the collector's market in business and all that. A lot of it is because there's no real collectability to this stuff. And people come at me periodically going, "Oh, are you saying, this comic's worthless or these stories are worthless?" Well, no, I think stories are fun. And I think there's value to stories and value to culture. But I think having collectible, tangible products is a byproduct of boomer consumer culture. And it doesn't make sense in a print on demand or an world where you can just read my comic at the click of a button. You can just go, boom, Spectacular Comics, and you can go buy it. Whoops, there's my sign in. I won't put in my password on the stream here. And you just buy it real quick, and you can read it instantly. And it's just something that is, you don't have to waste paper, don't have to do anything. It's pretty great. In that sort of realm, and in a realm where anybody can print anything on demand at any time, it takes, an hour to set it up for a book. There's nothing special about publishers at this point. There's no collectability. And that's why the margins are so razor thin, because the industry really propped itself up for 20 years over fake collectability. They really didn't prop themselves up over great cultural content, great, stories, new characters, or anything. They just put this fan fiction that they said was collectible to everybody. All right. And so now Diamond is holding previously scheduled payments to his vendors this week, attributing their decision to cash flow difficulties due to coronavirus. We're only 2 weeks into coronavirus, and this is how razor thin things are. If you think this is bad for Diamond, I mean, just think about how it is for the local comic shop guy that has to pay $2,000 or $3,000 in rent for their space, can't even sell any products whatsoever right now because of lockdown, can't pay any employees, is just stuck. If you think the corporation like Diamond's stuck, they're stuck at a whole nother level. And they can't even order stuff from Diamond to pay Diamond. So this whole system is collapsing in on itself because it is a legacy system that was built in the 1980s and doesn't make sense in an e-economy or a digital economy. And that's where we're at. It's going to be collapsing a lot faster than it ever did. Here's their vendor letter right here. As the world responds to the outbreak of COVID-19, our focus is on protecting employees, understanding the risks to our business, evaluating the risks to our industry, and examining the federal government resources available. While the full impact of this epidemic is still unknown, one thing is for certain: supply chain disruptions have cash flow implications across the extended industry, which can't be underestimated. While we work to understand the current industry landscape, the unfortunate truth is that we no longer are receiving consistent payments from our customers. This requires that at this time, we hold payments to vendors previously scheduled to release this week. This is a difficult decision and not one we make lightly. As this situation continues to evolve, we're committed to building out that plan for payment, and we'll have more information to share later this week. Thank you for your patience, etc. All right. That's it. So they're not going to pay their vendors. The vendors are going to stop working for the comic industry, and we just have a huge jumbled mess. But there is a different way to do things. And honestly, Amazon's the way. Amazon's very easy. It's got its full digital distribution network. This is the way to get stories. This is the way to change things. This is what I've been doing all along. If you look at my releases in general, I have this one. Let's go by publication date. I've got a science fiction novel coming out next month. I've got this coming out right now. I did the Steam Night February 10th. I did Clockwork Dancer in January. Flying Sparks issues 1 through 3. Issues 4 through 6 are also up. I just got to connect it to my profile here. I've come out with several books, and I come out with one, almost every month. And that is what I do pretty regularly to keep my readers happy. Readers can read my stuff all the time, always get new content. And I get no delays in shipping, no problems, no issues with vendors. All my vendors are always paid up front. All my artists are always paid up front. It's always good stuff. And that is the future of the industry. And without the middleman of Diamond and without the middleman of publishers, independents actually can thrive a little bit better because we can get more dollars per book going towards our hard work and efforts and not towards these companies that are middlemen for, pretty much zero purpose at this point. That's it. I'm not really shedding a tear over Diamond. I do support my local comic shop as much as I can. I'm trying to help them with their curbside pickups, and I recommend you do that because I love local business, small business, and that's the type of culture I want to support. So I try to do that as much as I can. I don't think they're going to be around for very much longer. This whole system cannot function with the amount of closures that are going to be happening. And once we get down to 800, 600 comic shops, this doesn't even make sense to have a distributor at a certain point. So it'll be interesting to see how this all unfolds and collapses and see if there's a new Wild West. I'm trying to prep for the new Wild West just by putting out consistent books, and that's what we're doing over here. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and pray for your local comic shop guys. They're going to be the ones hurting from this the most. And there's not much anybody can do about it because they are beholden to Diamond, who's beholden to Marvel and DC, and everybody is just stuck right now. All right, I will talk to you guys soon. Hopefully I'll have better news in the coming days and do some little bit of writing videos for you guys. Hit the like and subscribe button, like I said, and pick up Spectacular Comics #1 on Amazon now.